Hello, curious friend. Find a cozy spot and settle in. Tonight we are traveling to the edge of the sea, where a very small seagull is about to find a very big secret. Close your eyes if you like, or just watch the quiet pictures as we begin our adventure. Up high on the windy cliffs, where the air smelled fresh with salt and sea, lived a young seagull named Salty. Salty was tiny, even for a young seagull, but his heart was full of enormous curiosity. He loved the beach, but not just for fishing. He loved searching for the treasures the waves left behind. One day he flew down to his favorite spot, a sheltered cove, and spotted something unusual. Tucked into a pile of driftwood, sparkling like a giant teardrop, was a glass bottle. But inside was a magnificent miniature ship. It had tiny sails, a tiny mast, and a deck no bigger than a beetle. Salty was fascinated. He kept circling the bottle, peering closer. The tiny ship rocked gently on what looked like miniature blue paint, representing the sea. As Salty tilted his head, he accidentally nudged the top of the cork with his beak. Pop! The cork came loose. A rush of salty air, tiny but distinct, puffed out. Before Salty could even think, his wing brushed the opening, and he felt a strange, shimmering pull. The next thing he knew, he wasn't outside looking in. He was inside the bottle, sitting on the tiny deck of the miniature ship. Salty was now the size of a doll, and the ship felt like a small boat. He looked around in wonder. The water inside the bottle was not paint. It was a swirling, crystal-clear ocean. The glass walls curved high above him like towering, misty cliffs. He realized he was adrift, sailing on the currents of the confined water. "How do I get back out?" he chirped, but his voice was small and echoed softly. Suddenly, he heard a gentle splash near the bow. A tiny, bright orange fish, no bigger than Salty's smallest toe, peeked its head out of the waves. "Hello there, little sailor," squeaked the fish. "I'm Captain Finn. Are you lost, or are you just admiring my perfect waves?" Salty explained his predicament. Finn laughed, a quiet, bubbly sound. "The only way out is to sail to the North Cork, past the great seaweed forest." Captain Finn led the way, swimming just ahead of the tiny ship. Salty used a small piece of torn leaf as a makeshift rudder. They sailed through a thick green forest of tangled seaweed that looked like miniature jungle vines. The journey was slow and full of gentle rocking. Salty had to be careful not to catch the leaf rudder on the miniature rocks that made up the bottle's base. "Almost there, past the bubbly current," whispered Finn. Finally, they reached the North Cork, the open top of the bottle. Salty knew he had to flutter his wings and push with all his might against the inner curve of the glass. He thanked Captain Finn, promising to always remember his help. With a deep breath and a quick flap, Salty pushed upwards. He felt the shimmering pull again, and then, whoosh, he was back outside, standing on the driftwood next to the giant glass bottle. Salty gently replaced the cork, securing the tiny, magnificent world inside. He knew the bottle held a vast ocean and a tiny, loyal friend. The sun was setting, turning the real ocean outside a warm, calming orange. Salty tucked the bottle safely away and flew home, his heart full of the most wonderful secret adventure. He was tiny, but he had sailed an entire ocean. All was safe. All was calm. Good night, brave sailor.